I am sitting in my new apartment in Seattle drinking coffee on a quiet Tuesday morning. The place is small, just a studio, but it is mine. 5 years ago, I thought I had everything figured out. I was married to Jenna, we lived in Portland, and we were talking about buying a house, maybe starting a family. But sometimes, the life you think you are building is just a story someone else is writing. And when I found out the truth, I did not scream. I did not throw things. I just disappeared. Now her entire family is calling me a monster for how I handled it. Before I tell you how I discovered everything and why I chose to vanish like a ghost, let me know where you are watching this from in the comments below. Drop a like if you are following along, and hit that subscribe button, because what happened next will show you why sometimes silence is the loudest response you can give. Trust me, you will want to hear how this unfolds. Jenna and I met back at the University of Oregon. We were both in our early 20s, young and optimistic about the future. She was studying communications, I was in business, and we just clicked. After graduation, we both ended up working in marketing. I took a position at a small tech company in Portland, and she landed a job at a larger agency downtown. The pay was decent, the city was beautiful, and we got married when I was 25 and she was 24. For 5 years, everything seemed fine. We had our routines. I would wake up early, make coffee, head to work. Jenna usually left a bit later since her office was closer. We would text throughout the day, meet for lunch sometimes, and come home to cook dinner together. On weekends, we explored the city, hiked in the Columbia River Gorge, or just stayed in and watched movies. It was comfortable. It was safe. Or at least I thought it was. Looking back now, there were signs. Small things I brushed off because I trusted her. Jenna started working late more often, saying she had client meetings or networking events. Her phone was always face down on the table. When I walked into the room, she would quickly close her laptop or switch tabs. I told myself it was just work stress. The agency was demanding, I knew that. She had always been ambitious, and I respected that about her. I never thought to question it. We were even making plans for the future. Just a few months before everything fell apart, we started looking at houses in the Hawthorne neighborhood. Jenna wanted something with a backyard, maybe room for kids down the line. We talked about taking a trip to Alaska the following summer. Everything pointed forward. At least, that is what I believed. Then came the Friday that changed everything. I finished work early, around 4 in the afternoon. My project wrapped up ahead of schedule, and I decided to surprise Jenna with dinner. I stopped by the grocery store, picked up ingredients for her favorite pasta dish, and headed home. When I got there, the apartment was empty. I texted her asking when she would be back. She replied quickly, saying she was at a networking event downtown and would be home around 10 or 11. I set the groceries on the counter and walked into the living room. That is when I saw it. Her laptop was still open on the coffee table. She must have forgotten to close it before she left. The screen was dim, but not off. I moved the mouse to wake it up, thinking I would just close it for her. But then I saw the browser window. It was open to iMessage on the web. At first I did not think anything of it. But then I noticed the name at the top of the conversation. Just the letter D. My stomach tightened. I told myself it was nothing, probably a coworker or a client. But something made me scroll up, and that is when I saw them. Messages that were not about work. Messages with heart emojis. Messages that said things like, I miss you already, and last night was perfect, and I cannot wait to see you again. I sat down. My hands were shaking. I read through the entire conversation, scrolling back weeks, then months. It had been going on for at least 4 months. 4 months of lies. 4 months of her coming home, kissing me goodnight, and pretending everything was normal. I grabbed my phone and took pictures of the screen. I do not even know why I did it at that moment. Instinct, maybe. Some part of me knew I would need proof later. Then I just sat there. I did not close the laptop. I did not call her. I just stared at the wall, trying to process what I had just seen. When Jenna came home that night, it was almost 11:30. Her makeup was slightly smudged and there was a faint smell of cologne that was not mine. She smiled when she saw me on the couch. She said the event was exhausting, that she was glad to be home. I just nodded and said, yeah, sounds like a long night. She kissed my forehead and went to take a shower. I sat there frozen, listening to the water run. Over the next few days, I started paying attention to everything. I checked our shared credit card statements. There were charges for expensive dinners at restaurants I had never been to, hotel bars, a boutique hotel in downtown Portland on a Wednesday afternoon. I cross-referenced the dates with her calendar. Every single time she had told me she was working late or meeting a friend. I even checked her friend's social media. One night, Jenna said she was grabbing drinks with her friend Sarah. But Sarah posted an Instagram story that same evening showing her at home with her husband and kids. The lie was so casual, so effortless. That was what hurt the most. Not just the cheating, but how easy it was for her to deceive me. The breaking point came on a Wednesday night. Jenna said she had to stay late at the office to finish a presentation. I decided to bring her food, partly to be nice, partly to see if she was actually there. I drove to her office building around 8 in the evening. The parking lot was nearly empty. I walked up to the front entrance. The security guard recognized me and smiled. I asked if Jenna was still upstairs. He looked confused and said, "No one has been here since 6, sir. Everyone left early today." I stood there for a moment, not knowing what to say. I thanked him and walked back to my car. I sat in the driver's seat and just stared at the dashboard. My wife was not at work. She was somewhere else. With someone else, and she had lied to my face without hesitation. I drove around the city for hours that night. I ended up at a small park along the Willamette River. I parked and watched the water move under the streetlights. Everything I thought I knew felt like it was dissolving. It was not just the betrayal. It was the realization that every "I love you" she had said in the past 4 months had been hollow. Every plan we made, every conversation about our future, it was all built on a foundation of lies. Sitting there in the dark, a thought came to me. I did not want to confront her. I did not want to hear her excuses, her apologies, her justifications. I did not want the drama of a big argument, or the humiliation of trying to work it out while knowing she had been with someone else. I wanted something different. I wanted to disappear, not in a dramatic way but quietly, completely. I wanted to leave her with nothing but silence. The decision was made that night by the river, but the execution took planning. I spent the next 2 weeks pretending everything was normal. I smiled at Jenna in the mornings. I asked her about her day. I acted like a husband who had no idea his world was crumbling. But inside, I was building a plan. First, I took care of the finances. Jenna and I had a joint savings account with around $64,000 in it. Half of that was mine. I opened a separate account at a different bank and slowly transferred $32,000 over the course of a week. I made sure to leave her half untouched. I was not trying to steal from her. I just wanted what was mine. I also paid off our shared credit cards in full and then closed my name off them. Next, I contacted a divorce lawyer. I did not want a long, drawn-out court battle. I just wanted it done. The lawyer asked if I had proof of infidelity. I sent him the screenshots from her laptop. He said that in Oregon we could file for a no-fault divorce, but having evidence would make things cleaner if she tried to contest anything. I signed the paperwork and he prepared everything to be filed. Then came the hardest part: finding a new place to live. I did not want to stay in Portland. Too many memories, too many mutual friends, too much chance of running into her. I started looking at apartments in Seattle. It was about a 3-hour drive north, far enough to feel like a fresh start, but close enough that I could still visit my parents in California if I needed to. I found a small studio in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. It was affordable, available immediately, and allowed month-to-month leasing. I paid the deposit online and arranged to pick up the keys. I also talked to my boss. I told him I was going through a family situation and needed to relocate. Fortunately, my company had shifted to remote work during the pandemic and never fully went back to the office. He approved my request without asking too many questions. I was grateful for that. The one thing I did not do was tell anyone where I was going. Not my friends, not my coworkers, not even my parents at first. I knew that if Jenna found out, she would try to stop me or send someone to talk me out of it. I did not want that. I needed a clean break. I chose a Monday to leave. Jenna had a 3-day work trip that week. She was flying to San Francisco for a conference. It was the perfect window. On Sunday night, I helped her pack her suitcase. I kissed her goodbye at the door. She told me she loved me. I said it back. It was the last lie I ever told her. The moment her Uber pulled away, I started packing. I did not take much. Clothes, my laptop, a few books, some pictures of my family. I left everything else. The furniture, the kitchen appliances, the TV, all of it. I did not want anything that reminded me of the life we had built together. By 5 in the morning, my car was loaded. I left 2 things on the kitchen table. The first was my wedding ring. The second was a manila envelope. Inside were the divorce papers already signed by me and a handwritten note. It was short. Just 4 sentences. I know about Derek. I am done. The papers are inside. You will hear from my lawyer. Do not contact me. Melvin. I did not explain anything else. I did not tell her how I found out, or how long I had known. I did not ask for an explanation, or an apology. I just left the facts, and walked away. By 6 in the morning, I was on Interstate 5 heading north. The sun was starting to rise over the mountains. I had the radio on low, playing some instrumental music. My chest felt tight, but there was also a strange sense of relief. For the first time in weeks, I was not pretending. I was not playing a role. I was just moving forward. I arrived in Seattle around 9. The apartment was small and empty, but it was mine. I spent the first day unpacking and setting up my workspace. I blocked Jenna's number. I blocked her family's numbers. I blocked her friends. I did not want to hear from any of them. I knew what was coming. By Monday evening, my phone started buzzing. Texts from Jenna's number, even though I had blocked it somehow, still showed as notifications. Melvin, where are you? We need to talk. You cannot just leave like this. Please call me back. I did not open any of them. I just let them pile up. Then she started calling my parents. My mom texted me confused, saying Jenna was frantic and claiming I had disappeared without warning. I called my mom back and explained everything. I told her about the cheating, about the lies, about why I left. I sent her the screenshots. She was quiet for a long time, then said, "Oh honey, I am so sorry. You did what you had to do." My dad got on the phone and said, "You are always welcome home if you need anything." But I could tell they understood. But Jenna did not stop there.